Yeah.
Thank you.
You got it. Sure, you guys want to cash that check as quick as you can, help the bill.
Yeah.
Brandon?
Yeah.
Just had a comment on that. You and me. Microphones aren't on yet, are they?
What's that?
Their mics aren't on yet.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Is your own?
Yeah.
Low mileage from the county engineer. Right there. It didn't change from last year.
You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
You good? I'd like to call the Jerome Township Board of Trustees regular scheduled meeting January 21st, 2025 to order. The time is 7:12. Roll call.
Mr. Adler?
Present.
Ms. Davis?
Present.
Mr. Kraft?
Present. We could rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did any of the trustees have any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Let's get this, see if this or maybe
I did want to mention that I got a letter today from the Union County Township Association. You can put that under new business.
Okay. And then Brandon, we needed to add an item. Where do you want to put that?
Yeah, under old business, for the Curry Farms Forestry Project, and we can move that if you'd like. If you want to move old business up before executive session, or however you want to do that. It's up to you guys.
Okay.
And then
We'll
our-
move 11 up between 8 and 9.
oh, what did you say?
About the
11 here.
the easement.
And then are we making this fine young man wait till the end to be
Sure.
sworn in, or are we gonna
Sure.
ask?
Let's.
been done.
Oh, okay, you're hanging out. I see.
I'm just hanging out.
All right. I move that we accept the agenda as modified.
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes. All right. Robert.
Barry had a couple questions about the minutes, so I have not had a chance to
Okay.
take a look at those. So we'll go straight to warrants
per your pending warrants report. They are warrants 45,305 through 45,341 and 95,001 through 95,005.
I move that we approve those warrants as stated.
Second.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Couple more items. We received the annual road mileage from the Union County engineer, 36.927 miles of township road. We just need your signature on that, send it back to them.
Sounds like
Is
from
that-
yesterday, we were 24 miles. Is that giving us all the roads?
Robert, that's just the township roads that the township maintains, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Those are roads that have been inspected and turned over to the township. We are aware that there are still some roads within the developments that have yet to be turned over. The final item I have, I believe, is approved in the 2025 budget was a truck to replace the crew cab utility truck that's being used by the road department. Vince did provide me a quote from Reichert Chevy GMC for a 2025 3500 crew chassis cab at a total price of $64,573, including the body that goes on the back of the truck.
Body on the back of it? It doesn't come with a body?
Well, you know, like the bed.
Special bed?
Yes,
Okay, special bed.
yes. That is less than what we budgeted for in 2025.
Is that like a pre-contract price? Is that, you just walk in and say, hey, how much is the truck? Or-
Well, this is the price of a truck that is available now with them. Did indicate that if we wanted to order a truck, it would be 3 months for the order to be built, and then another 6 weeks to have the truck upfitted for the parts, make it available to accept a snowplow and for the bed in the back.
So we're probably not gonna, I mean, if we got the truck now, by the time we got everything on it, we would be able to put it in service.
If we ordered one, that is correct.
But if we took this truck,
Yeah,
it
this is
doesn't have a
available.
plow on it, or?
It already has the snowplow prep included as part of the package. And included on it.
This is to replace the green truck that's, I think, an '04. Seen its better days.
And we're going with the GMC, is that what our other trucks are?
Yes, most of our trucks are Chevys, the most recent one. And this does include the GM bid assistant discount of $3,000.
Just to clarify, is that required to be bid out since it's over $50,000 or not?
The new threshold is $75,000,
I see.
so it is not required to be bid out.
Brandon, would you recommend moving forward?
Yeah, this is a truck that they've needed. They were gonna do it last year, we put it off. So, this is a little bit of a better truck for their needs, and it has the space that they need that they currently don't. Right now, if they go out on a job, they gotta take 2 trucks because they can only get 2 people in the existing truck. This one would allow 4 because it's got a back seat.
Okay. I mean, I support this. It sounds like they need it. Robert, what would the motion be?
Just to approve the purchase of the Chevy GMC truck from Reichert Chevy in the amount of $64,573.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second?
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
That's all that I have.
Thank you, Robert. Public participation, don't have anybody that's signed in to make a comment. Public safety officer?
Evening, Deputy Zach Bernhold, Union County Sheriff's Office. I don't really have anything to report other than that it's very cold outside, so I'd recommend keeping some blankets and things like that in your vehicle in case you break down and need to stay warm for a little bit. Other than that, I don't have anything, any questions, comments, concerns.
I do not. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Stay
being
warm.
here.
The gentleman here about the easement for Curry Farms.
Yes.
So
State your name and address. Go ahead.
Go ahead, let him.
Caden Muchsweater from American Homes, land acquisition and Westbeth.
So earlier, the board approved an easement for the Curry Farms force main, which would cut through the property here. We've been back and forth on this quite a bit with AMH. There was some confusion on what was and was not going to be done, so they offered to come tonight. The last information that I got was today from Joe Pappas, who is coming. He's on his way here, just running a little bit later from another meeting. Is that they are willing to bore under the driveway. I told them that we could not have our drive out of access. It is our only drive into this building. So they're going to bore under it, but the rest they want to do is an open cut. And you know, the other issue that Mr. Adler had addressed was, you know, what was going to happen if, you know, trees were touched. And so they added that into the revised version this afternoon, but still are opposed of going back and boring the entire project. I think the confusion, the way I can remember this, started many, many months ago when I was working, I think probably with one of your engineers maybe.
Yeah.
And the discussion at that time was, in his mind, you know, how do we cut down trees, remove trees, bore, whatever. And you know, we were trying to assess value of trees that would have to be cut down, removed. How would that apply to the project? Ultimately, within a few weeks, I was told that they were going to bore the entire project. Then I don't know what all changed, but other than a lot of time went by, then the offer was that they were just going to bore under the drive. That's what came to us last time. We settled on the easement. They've written a check to the township in the amount of $45,000, which was approved by the board. Where we're at, though, is the finer details, and I think I'm glad you're here so we can clear up any confusion that the board has. And so, from my understanding, just for the board's knowledge, Mr. Snowden told me that if you can discuss it, but if you're going to do any other action that would change your original vote, then he would have to draw up new resolutions for you to vote on again. Which might hold this up a little bit, but you know, it's kind of been at a teetering point here. These guys just want to get the project moving. And do you know, or and we can certainly ask Joe when he comes if we need to, but I think one concern was, and I think you're required by law, but I just want to make sure. So if you do the above ground cut, the open cut, is your company then responsible for coming in, seeding,
Yes.
whatever you do.
Install whatever satisfies you guys to get back to the original condition that it's in.
Okay, all right. Is that do you know, is that a matter of law or is that a matter of your contract? Because I think that's where one point of contention was.
I want to say it comes into contract, but it's also just comes down to just our integrity as a company and who we're going to hire. We're just going to make sure it's better than what we found it.
Okay.
Because as I read it, it was not stated in the contract that would be the case.
When Mr. Snowden and I communicated recently, Mr. Adler, I think he said that by law, they would be required to, there's something in the law, I think, that would augment what he just said as well, so that, you know, they can't just come in, dig up, leave a mound of dirt in the front yard, walk away and never make it right. So what is your understanding of, and I'll be honest, board, I've kind of lost track of what the last round of vote was on this. Do you recall what was in front of our board?
So
last?
What happened, I believe, to my understanding, was the board passed the amendment that we bored the entire thing, but because we didn't agree to boring the entire thing because we had it re-engineered for the tree issue. So we re-engineered so we won't have to harm any trees at all, and then we still will bore right underneath the driveway.
So we would have to check, and I could check with Mr. Snowden if you want me to, of exactly what the board voted on, because if it's a change from the resolution, that's kind of why he's here tonight, is to figure out what we need to do or what they need to do. But if it's a change.
The resolution did include boring for the whole project.
The whole project?
Yes.
Okay.
You know,
That's what
also,
we voted on.
you know, it's my understanding, and I could be wrong, and maybe you could step away and call Griggs quickly, but if it comes down to it, I think we can retract a former resolution, state a new one, and then have it drafted after. That's legal
Okay.
and appropriate,
Okay.
and actually common.
Okay.
But if we need to double check with Pete, we can.
Give me a call Eric real quick. What you want me to do? Pause and.
I don't think that Eric would be the legal counsel I would
Okay.
want.
Oh, you want legal
I would
counsel.
want just to clarify with Pete, wouldn't you say, Robert? But
Yeah, but as you mentioned,
that's the way,
standard operating procedure.
yeah, we've done this before.
We're going to rescind the previous resolution.
I think what we need to do is, can we,
But we don't have the new resolution. We would do it without having it. and
yeah,
then-
we don't have to have it drafted.
Okay.
So what we would need to do is, if you could grab the former resolution, is that available? You could call Eric for that?
I can ask Eric where it is.
Or at least in the minutes, it would be stated,
Just the title. not
the title of it.
Is the contract you shared with us today the same as what was presented previously? I'm hearing that it got changed again. I don't think I've had enough time to review that to see how this impacts the trees that are out.
I can't answer that without pulling it back
Well,
up.
And so, but he's saying it's been re-engineered for the purpose of
Yeah,
not
they-
disrupting any.
Yeah,
And we accepted the red line regarding the trees and the shrubs from what your council had stated, but we just wanted to remove the part, the only thing that would be changing is boring the entire thing to open cut it.
So it would be boring exactly what?
Underneath the driveway, so where it comes in, we're gonna open cut it, and then when it gets close to the driveway, we'll bore underneath of it, so it doesn't disrupt traffic coming in and out, or to repave the asphalt, concrete, and then we would then continue back with our open cut.
So Robert, could we not rescind, but maybe amend and then retract out boring the whole thing? Bore it, put a definition of what boring means to us, and then also state that they're going to leave it better than they found it as part of the resolution amendment?
Is there
The
anything
concern
in-
was the trees.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there anything in the contract that indicates any replacement of trees that have to be cut down or killed as part of this process? That was my concern.
But
I think that's why they
their
re-engineered it.
contract and their
But
engineer.
re-engineering it I think they just moved it a few feet away. They're still going to impact. I'm not sure that they've avoided all of the trees on here from what I saw. Is that the case? Do you have the trees shown on it? Exhibit. That's, because
Do you have
what they
an
shared with
exhibit
us
with
just showed the engineering ones. It didn't show any trees. That's what was re-engineered.
I mean, it'd be so much better if we could just amend the resolution, right? What do you want there if they disrupt a tree, then it's like 1 for 1? They take down a tree, they plant a tree. What do you want?
Well, I said, it depends which trees they take down. If they take down a 30-foot tree and we put in a 4-foot tree in
30,
replacement, that's
30-foot tree.
that's 20 years till it grows up again.
That's true.
Yeah, so here's the exhibit.
He's the horticulturist.
So which line is the,
So it was originally black, and then it goes to the red.
yes, but there's 3 red lines on
Just-
there.
If you go
One of
to
the red
it,
lines is in the
it's
drip line of the trees.
$250,000 or something like that. They won't, that's all it was, tree and all that. Million other trees out there.
Right.
I don't see 3 trees on here. There's some black ones.
Mhm. Just above us, my vision's like.
That one needs
I
taken
checked
out
out,
down
and they said
there.
it's fine.
We're only showing 4 trees. Is that correct out there? I thought there were more than 4 trees.
Well, they're not touching these large ones.
Columns,
Which
I
I don't
It
think
looks like
they're
they're
in
just
basement.
going to the drip line.
Just to make sure that you got that.
But then there's one down here. It looks like
You
they're
know,
going
like snow shoveling and moving stuff like that, that's when.
2
you
or
get
3 or
it.
4 as you go down that way.
Thin my blood too much.
They're only showing 1 on there.
Yeah. It's not painful.
No. It freaks everybody out though.
So,
I know.
like, the circles are the drip lines from where those
Yeah.
trees are. And then if that's the drip line from there, then we cut underneath the drip line.
You're cutting it into the drip line now on that tree, so that one's gone.
On,
Barry just says, Barry, how about 250,000 per tree if they kill a tree? Then we'll make sure it doesn't happen. We just don't want anything to happen to these trees, you know. So Barry's going to put the resolution. Then we'll know the trees are going to be fine.
If you amended the resolution, couldn't you just say that if a tree is removed or that they would
Are those baby
be
trees or
responsible
grown-up
for
trees?
Yeah,
the
they're grown-up trees.
fair market value? I mean,
And we're not going to know till the following spring or fall.
It could be a
whether or
few
not they're
years
dead.
later that we find out that
Yeah.
I
a
don't
tree
know.
got it.
From what he's showing me, there's definitely one that they're going to go almost totally under. Down. Is that one down at this other end here?
I have a question, and maybe it's a stupid one, but is this on the easement that they're purchasing?
Correct.
It's just gonna-
Yes, they've
So are
already
they,
$45,000
are they our trees then, or are they not our trees?
I think there are trees, but they're allowed to use this space,
Okay.
is what I would think.
They're buying easement to,
But it's,
Allow them
but they
to
don't own the
damage
trees,
it.
we own the
we
trees.
own the trees, correct?
Would you be comfortable if we put something in there about the trees, Barry? Like, I don't know how you would state it, just that,
Well, I know, that was the problem. Initially, we wanted to put a valuation on the trees, and then they came back and said, well, let's just bore underneath the trees, and we could avoid having
then we
to
approved
replace the
that,
trees.
we approved that.
That's what we
Yeah.
approved. They came back now and they're saying, no, they want to dig right next to the drip lines or right through the drip lines on one of these trees. Looks like so. At least one will be destroyed. So I don't know, without a valuation for those trees, it would be hard to agree on a contract at this point. Unless we agree who's going to value the trees that need replacement.
They
I
replace
mean-
any trees that are damaged with similar like kind? But how do you do that with the 20-year-old trees, what you're saying?
I think it's almost,
We,
I mean, this is
I
stuff
think we
that
need to
has
go
to
forward
happen.
with it, yeah.
This is stuff that has to happen, and although I don't want one tree to be removed, they're beautiful, mature trees. I think that we have to be realistic that when the township has things like this that have to happen, there's going to be
Right, it
some.
has to happen, but they can bore under these and not damage the tree.
Well, is there a reason that you can't bore under?
So timeline-wise, yes. We are trying to close on Curry Farms, and we need this easement in order to do so by the 31st of this end of January. And boring the entire thing would cost a plethora of amount more, as well as just timing of being able to get a crew. It's a lot easier to open cut and get someone out quickly instead of boring, which would be a longer process as well. And I would like to say it's only an 8-inch force main. It's not a 24-inch or 36 inches. It's a smaller line that's going in.
Let me ask you this,
But
how many?
Isn't it a 10-foot easement that you're asking for around that line?
But the line itself is only 8 inches.
Right, but you could be digging up to 10 feet when you have the easement.
Could, but I mean, to put the 8-inch in, I don't work in construction, but I have a general understanding we're not going to need all 10 feet. We're going to be working within a 2-foot diameter.
Right, but the equipment that goes on that 2-foot
Yeah,
trench is going to damage up to almost 10 feet.
possible.
In the original, I think the concern is noted. I mean, I think the board would have to make a decision on how you want to amend the resolution. I'm not hearing you say not allow the project to go forward. They have written a check for $45,000 for the easement. Hi, Joe, we're talking about you. So, you know, it gets down to, Joe, you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. Joe Patrick with AMH. I'm the land acquisition manager. So Kate and I have been working on this with Brandon for a little bit here now. So I don't know.
Yes.
So
We've
we're-
got an agreement, any trees damaged, $250,000, is that right, Barry?
So we're coming to the
100,000
conclusion
$100,000
that
sufficient.
we would only need to amend the resolution, and we can do that. We can do that tonight.
Okay.
Barry is concerned, you know, we love our mature trees, but he
Right,
was
right.
especially paying attention to the area, showing the exhibit, just trying to understand what kind of damage to trees will ensue with not boring the entire thing.
So, let's see. So there will be no damage. We rerouted the force main as we moved the easement to actually avoid the trees completely.
That's not what that looked like, and he just showed
Let
me.
me, so yeah, you can see the new easement.
Can you bring that over and
Yeah.
show Barry?
Yes.
We are blessed with a horticulturist by degree.
So this is the
He
actual
knows.
force main right here. This was the old one in the black, and the red one is the new one. So you can see we brought it down away from the tree. I think, is that the one you're concerned about?
But what is this red line on the other side of
The-
the tree?
so that is
So you're
just-
saying that that's where the easement would be, on the other side of the tree, so.
So it's just a 20-foot easement, but we wouldn't be digging there. So it's only an 8-inch pipe,
Right.
so it's very small. So we'd be jotting around it. So that was kind of the whole, I think we proposed this a while ago, and then we talked about the boring, but just we didn't want to damage the trees in any way, so that's why we went with the trench cutting instead and rerouted it around the actual tree.
If we were
Barry,
able
we
to,
could use our money that we got for the easement to replace trees if we needed to.
Well, no, we will not be affecting
And
the trees at all.
to
Well,
make
I would like
Mr.
some assurance that if they
Yeah.
do affect the trees, that we will be compensated.
So in the
Since they're telling us that they won't affect.
so there is actually provision in the new agreement. I believe your legal counsel said something to the effect of like trimming or damaging trees, and so there is something in there that would hold us liable for
The way I
damage.
read it, it said that you were not held liable for that.
No, they've agreed to that.
No,
They agreed to-
yeah, so we agreed to that
to that.
portion, just not boring the entire thing. So we're still gonna bore under the driveway to avoid any disturbance to traffic flow in and out of your building. It's just more so the rest of the project, because we want this to be over as quick as possible. And it's just quicker for us to trench rather than like bore through everything. And we're also committed to sodding everything that we tear up, so it'll look exactly the way that it does right now. We just want to get in and out as quickly as possible. But we can also, if we can get like conditional approval and then look further into this, so you can sign outside of this meeting as
So
well.
I
We can
think
do
would it satisfy you if we were to amend it to say that, whatever we needed to say about boring and making it, as you said, better than before with sodding?
Right.
But if there were, say Barry walks out there and there's a 20-foot tree down,
Then
that
we would be
you'll replace
accountable
it
for replacing.
for fair market value of the size of the tree that is down.
Yes, that's
You'll,
completely fair.
that's acceptable to you?
Yes, that is acceptable.
There we go. So do we need like a couple minutes to figure out what this amendment says then?
That's up to you. I think what you're voting on then would, or to amend,
I'd rather amend than rescind and redo.
to amend it, it would probably just state that the board agrees to allow boring under the driveway to 9777 Industrial Parkway, and that you would permit the rest of the project to be open cut with consideration of any damages done to the trees would be compensated back fairly to the township.
We could do an addendum to the resolution. It's an agreement that we did, right? An addendum to the agreement that would just be another page that would say.
Right? I don't think it's
Okay.
in the contract, it's just in the resolution, or is it a part of?
Resolution, it's
It's
two
a-
easements,
It's,
two separate easements
yeah, it's
tied together. into
amending
one
the
project.
contract. That's
Yes, we
acceptable?
did the two motions. Yes, that's
Okay, so I'm gonna have you say this again, and want a head nod
yes.
And then we'll
that
then
it
do
sounds
a
right,
so
and then
moved
we'll vote, okay.
in as few words as possible.
It'd be a motion to allow AMH,
Well,
to-
hold on,
To
start of
amend.
it, we gotta amend.
yes, a motion to
The previous
amend the
resolution.
previous resolutions for the easements that would allow AMH to do the Curry Farm Force Main project that would bore under the driveway, allow boring under the driveway, the rest to be open cut, and holding the township full or harmless for any trees damaged.
To be replaced with fair
Correct.
market value.
Yes.
Okay.
So moved.
Second,
Roll call, please. Or you're still writing, sorry. I'll take it right on this.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
yes,
Mr. Kraft?
Yes.
good deal.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Moving on. We've got 3 executive sessions here, and we're gonna do one and then come back.
I think they've just given you a sample of each
Okay.
type. I don't know what, if any, are planned, scheduled.
Okay. Oh, this says extras. All right. So, I'd like to, the time is 7:45. I'd like to move that we adjourn into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121.22G1 for the purposes of considering the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline.
You only have to list.
Okay.
what actually going on.
Gotcha. Considering the discipline of a public employee or official.
Time?
7:45.
Second. It's on a quick start.
Yep.
We only have 6 people at the station for 3 shifts. So we need 36 men.
Ready? Okay. The time is 8:22. I move that we adjourn executive session.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes. I'd like to hand the meeting over to our administrator, Brandon.
Thank you, Mr. Kraft. It's been a very busy winter for all of our staff, and the temperatures yesterday and then expected overnight to drop again. We're going to, just as a reminder, we're going to delay opening again till 10 a.m. The main office tomorrow won't open until 10 a.m. That's what we did today. Road division, you know, they can handle the cold. It's the snow and ice that hits them hard, but they've been steady. And of course, you've already heard from the fire chief about their activities, and we've already heard them go by a couple times tonight, so they remain busy as well. I'm going to jump down to the zoning department real quick if I can for the comp plan update. Mr. Snowden, who wasn't able to be here tonight, wanted me to just go over this again with you, that MKSK has requested an up to, not to exceed amount of 20,000 additional for additional services, which they list as major revisions for the current draft that they're on, including feedback received from reviewing bodies, zoning commission meetings, online feedback, 2 public open houses. Tasks include drafts, revisions, internal planning coordination, client planning coordination, revision plan related correspondence, map, figure, content, revision, extension, development, and attendance and attendance and applicable preparation for future adoption hearings. All that combined, that was just something that, not to exceed amount 20,000, was something that they thought would get you through the finish line and be enough where we wouldn't have to come back and ask again. They're not saying it's going to be 20,000. They're just saying not to exceed 20,000. So
You said major revisions
yes,
based on feedback and steering boards?
it says
I feel like I-
MKSK team is
you
prepared
are
to continue to
familiar with
assist the
major
township through the adoption process of the comp plan, inclusive of the following: major revisions to the 3.0 draft document based on applicable feedback. And so I don't know if they, when they use the word major, I don't know how that is defined.
Yeah, I listened to the
You guys,
zoning commission
we
hearing.
need to keep this thing moving and get on with it. This is like the second or third time that we've been like, well, let's have another meeting, or let's see what this person says. I mean, we've been on this for way too long so far. It's not gonna be a perfect document. We're gonna need to revisit it later on.
But listen,
And sometimes, it's a guide. It's not like the absolute law of the land. And we need to, put this to bed and have our meeting.
but Joe, my question is, the terminology was major revisions. So we're approving 20 grand on major revisions. Do you know what the major revision is?
No.
Neither do
No.
I. Barry,
It said
would you like to share
3.0,
what
which means it'd be the third, revision.
I listened to the
What is
zoning
the
commission
major-
meetings. They listed, I can't remember the number, about a dozen
Okay.
significant things that they needed to be changing.
Okay.
So that
Did they
zoning
continue their
commission-
meeting, or?
Zoning commission continued the meeting and requested that they do these. So this would be in support of what the zoning commission wants
Was
to
it
do.
unanimous support?
I believe so. Yes.
Can you give me one you just said? Removal of what?
The most significant one, I thought, was that they were going to put the focus areas, those 3 focus areas that have been so contentious, they were going to move them into the appendix and not make that a focus of the changes. There was a number of issues raised by the LUC. They were also going to be addressing in the changes. Some of these had to do with density, some of these had to do with current zoning buffering and things like that, so.
How long was the meeting approximately? Was it like a 3-hour meeting?
2-hour meeting.
Okay.
So there was a lot.
So
of
we got
discussion.
these specialists coming to this meeting, it's multiple hours. So we already had approved extra meetings. I'm not sure where we're at with this.
I'm disappointed, but like you,
Yeah.
we need to finish
Yeah.
this thing and.
We need to
we're
get
gonna finish it.
done, yeah. And it's not gonna be perfect. I think it's pretty good. What I've seen has been, I've been pleasantly
The only
surprised.
saving grace that Mr. Snowden indicated me is that basically these extra funds are coming out of our zoning fees, which we are
That are not-
sufficiently funded
Yeah.
at this point. So it's not like,
It's not taxpayer funded.
it's not taking the general fund fees away from.
But it's like if I had private company and I had up to, it's like really hate to leave an open checkbook on everything. But then if we said $10,000 and then we found out it was $12,000, then we would be back voting again.
I know, I just wish I had like
know
a
what we're
summary,
paying for, yeah.
which would have been nice, you know what I mean?
I think.
Because I
what-
hear major revisions and I'm like, wait a second.
Right, and I think that that's a fair question, and I can certainly put you in touch with Kyle.
Here's,
Very easy to talk to.
I'll agree to this, but I feel like we need to have one-on-ones with these guys before they put together some document that they bring back to us and we're like, wait a second. I appreciate the steering committee and the zoning commission and everything, but at the end of the day, what is the dollar amount that we're up to?
I don't
you know?
know total, I don't know.
We
We
started
were at
out
160, I think we started, we added 10 to that, now they want 20 more. So that's 190, I believe. I'm not sure exactly where we started, but I think it was around 160. It's,
Some of the issues though that have been, I think it's, I don't know that it's necessarily a bad thing of where we are either. I respect the fact that they have listened, they've tried to revise things that have been brought forth with folks in the community, some of you personally, the LUC, and they're trying to get a product, they're trying to get it across the finish line, and we're almost there, but again, it's the way this is played out.
Because preparing it to bring to the board for passage is a part of the original contract.
that's
You know what I
what's
mean? So
disappointing.
that to me is an unacceptable part of this ask, is they're saying that it's preparing to bring forth, no, that was a part of the original.
Robert, have they supplied a detailed invoice for that 10,000 already? That we agreed on?
It was not detailed.
So we don't know exactly what to do with that.
I don't think we just write Pete a check for $10,000. Like, who'd you talk to? What were we discussing? Which meeting did you go to? Where'd you travel to? What copies did you make? You know,
I think Eric was working on that earlier today to try to find more detail out.
Can you list what this up to 20,000 covers again, please?
Yes, what's in front of me says, and this is their additional services request that they sent to Eric. It says MKSK team is prepared to assist in the adoption process of the comp plan, inclusive
Part of the original. Okay, I just want to check boxes with you.
of the following: major revisions to the 3.0 draft document based on applicable feedback received from reviewing bodies, zoning commission meetings, online feedback, and 2 public open houses. Tasks include draft documentation and revisions, internal planning coordination, client planning coordination, revision plan and related correspondence, map, figure, content revision, extension, development, attendance, and applicable preparation for future adoption hearings.
I almost want to.
give me the document. Let's just approve it right now and be done with it.
I mean, I almost want to take what their original contract said that they would do and hold it up to this. This is, in my understanding, this was a part of the process. A $30,000 extra fee. I'm not really understanding it with no detailed invoice. I'm not really understanding.
Maybe we approve a lesser amount, require some more details of the hours put in and everything like that. 'Cause
What, I think on good faith, they're gonna keep going forward. Maybe we could just ask for some detail. You know, they said we had 3 people at the meeting for 3 hours, and we had 2 hours on the phone with Brad Bodenbender, and we went to LUC, you know. But if that's part of the original, I don't know how it was worded.
I think the original document outlined so many meetings, and this is beyond the scope of the original.
But
numbers
do we
of
know
meetings.
that? You know,
Fairly certain,
You're
Robert,
fairly
do you
certain?
recall?
I just, what,
When we looked at it last time for the 10,000, I think I asked those kind of questions.
what bothered me about what they're asking is preparation for adoption. I don't like that because that's a part of the
Right.
job, right? And I'm not trying to rake MKSK over the coal, you know, across the coals. I'm sure they've done everything possible. That just bothered me. And I'm trying to be prudent here. So,
Well, to be honest with you, all these extra charges bother me, but I'm in Joe's court that we have to finish it, get it across the finish line here.
here,
I don't know
Well,
what else we can do to rein them in and require, or. ask
Yeah, I
them.
mean, it wouldn't have been right to say, the zoning commission, you got 2 meetings, get it done, you know, get it done. We want them to take their time, but understand that the clock's ticking here.
maybe we should say up to 15,000 and preparation for adoption is a part of the original contract. To send a message.
I just think, just from hearing conversations and talking on the Zooms, I know that it kind of sounds easy to change a map, for example, but if you're going to change the map, then it's going to change most likely something else in the text. And so what they're talking about is the detailed work that goes into just one change. But when they're a laundry list, which they have done now, I don't know how many times, from public meetings, conversations, that is their job. I get that. But I think what this is, you know, they've done a really good job, I think, of what they have out there. And then some things have been found and some other feedback. We've had some really late feedback coming in just last week, I believe. And so, you know, again, it just takes more time. And I don't remember the original wording either, Barry, but.
And so are these, Brandon, may I ask, are these changes just anybody can send them? I mean, at what point do they go, okay, we're making this change? because
Yeah, it's a question for Kyle.
that's where I feel like it gets a little
I
convoluted.
think they presented a list of a dozen or so changes that they were
To the
asking
zoning
the
commission.
the zoning commission basically agreed, yes, make those changes, come back a 4.0 draft to us a month from now. And they agreed to basically prepare that document.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and do this, but moving forward, I feel like I need more detailed invoices because I don't know,
Correct. I agree.
right? Wouldn't you
Yes.
agree?
Oh,
We can't just have a blanket invoice for 10 grand and not know what that
Yep.
means.
I'll let 'em know.
Whatever.
Absolutely.
And to Brandon's point, you change one thing, then all the page numbers change, the spacing changes.
It changes
You know, When
everything.
you change a dozen things, there is going to be a lot of time in readjusting the
And it's-
final document.
And it's hard for us because we're at the end of the line
Right,
and
we're waiting.
we're having to let this go through a public process that we're not involved in, going to the zoning commission, who are not elected. And then it comes to us and we're at the end of the line and then we have to take a 200-page document and then, so it feels we have very little control and then we have to make the biggest decision of
Well,
all.
and then we're going to also have another public hearing where we're going to want them to be in attendance and explaining everything.
And yet, we're not familiar with what these changes are as it happens. It's just dumped on us at the last minute. You know what I mean? I feel like I need some summaries from them. Erica's done a good job as an overview of keeping us informed, but I feel like we need,
Maybe Eric could provide the trustees with a summary of what occurred at the last zoning commission meeting, those changes.
and what an overarching request, you know what I mean, means. It's just, otherwise, we're gonna get down to voting day and we're gonna be like, well, I need a month to review.
Yeah, I think that's why they're putting up to not to exceed 20,000.
Just to do something else we could.
I mean, Brandon, do you think we should just do the 20 or should we do 15?
Well, again, it's an up to amount. That's entirely up to you guys. You can choose a different amount, and
Barry, what do you think?
I feel like if we do the up to amount, we have to put some more detailed invoicing so we know exactly what they've spent their time on. I mean, if they've got to show us so many hours doing this, show us.
20 grand
That's a lot of time.
is a lot of money. I mean, how much of that, the original budget was 150, so 160, so
20.
yeah, so what's the percent? 20 grand is what?
I mean, it'd be like 200 hours at $100 an hour, or 400 hours at that. But they get travel time, and I think Randy's mentioned a couple.
And as part of the
Zoom
original
meetings,
contract, there was an
Meetings
hourly
with
rate.
Eric, meetings with Eric.
There was some hourly rates in the original contract, Robert, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that that's true.
Yeah, and that we could go back and whatever additional billings that they have to be shown at those hourly rates for whoever's doing. There were different rates for different staff people on the.
I don't think they'd have any problem of giving you guys the information. They've been very good to work with.
Okay,
All right, are we gonna move on this, or what do we want to do here?
up to 20, but I want a detailed invoice that, does the contract originally say hourly? Do you remember?
Yeah,
We have to flip. I just want to know what's going on. I don't want a blanket invoice for 10 and 20,000.
I agree.
I mean, that's a lot of money.
Did it look like the likelihood was if those changes were made at the next meeting, they might send it on to us? From what you saw?
It seemed like a
Yeah.
good
I
possibility.
mean, it's up to them,
As long as
you
the
know, I
zoning
want them to-
commission, and they said that they were going to have it done by January 27th, so the zoning commission would have a couple of weeks to review and ask questions at their next meeting. So it sounded like if they made all of those changes that the zoning commission was asking for, that they would probably approve it at their next meeting and not have to make any major modifications. That's the gist of what I felt. But I could be wrong, they could continue to make another meeting or two depending on feedback.
I know that they're doing a great job. I just don't like writing blank checks for what I don't, you know what I mean?
Well, let's move to up to $20,000 with a requirement that more detailed invoices be provided showing hourly rates and what work is done for that additional amount.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Kraft?
Yes. Brandon? Do you
That
have
ends
anything
my-
else for the board?
That ends my report.
All right. I don't have anything down for old business. New business, looks like we need to set a public hearing for case number ZT 24-001, zoning text amendment.
Did I hear somebody was going to be missing at the next?
Yeah. Do you think you guys can handle this?
Is this
It's
the
something-
housekeeping amendment?
Yes, but there was some discussion in the zoning commission regarding the size of the accessory buildings and things like that. So we may have some input.
We got a unanimous from the zoning commission on this. I'm okay either way.
Are you gone in
Unless you
February?
guys, I'm gonna be gone that day, yeah.
Is that the first meeting in February?
Yeah.
We hear the
So,
second meeting, so we could delay the second meeting.
I guess if we,
Let's just set it for the second meeting when you'll be here also, just in
okay,
case the
okay,
public feedback.
all right.
I don't think there's a real pressing need by Eric to have this done immediately.
Did you say pressing, like first meeting or second meeting done? Okay.
That's fine, yeah.
So 14th, 18th. So I'd like to move that Jerome Township Board of Trustees set a public hearing for an amendment to the zoning resolution, case number ZT 24-001, to set a public hearing on the case for Tuesday, February 18th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Here at the Township Hall.
Second.
Mr. Adler?
Yes.
Ms. Davis?
Yes.
Kraft?
Yes. What's this copy?
Who's one other new business item?
Okay,
There's one other new business item that came up.
all right.
at the beginning of the-
Trustee
Go ahead,
Adler,
Brandon.
sure, Trustee Adler gave me earlier this evening a notice from the Union County Townships Officials Association that they are planning, once again, for their banquet. The banquet is scheduled for Wednesday, March 5th at 6 o'clock at their Dutchman in Plain City. And we did an ad for this last year. And we wanted to ask the board if you wanted to do an ad again. This year, a half-page ad is $50, a full-page ad is $100 with 2 meal tickets. A single meal ticket is available at $25 with no ad.
I think we should do a full-page ad to support the county association.
I think that's what we did last time.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
And,
I think we did a full page plus $100 worth of gift certificates.
yeah, we did $100 worth of gift certificates. Last year, I grabbed those certificates because I was the president at the time, and now happy to announce it's Judy Christian and Bruce Davis out of York Township. They're going to do a great job. Judy was the treasurer, or I'm sorry, the secretary. But if somebody else wants to grab those, I mean, so who would like to take those tickets? I mean, Barry, you always go.
Are you planning to attend, Joe?
Do you
I
want to go?
have to check my schedule.
What was it, March 5th? Did they say?
March 5th.
March 5th.
If you're not planning to attend.
Would you be okay?
Brandon, are you going to attend? You want to pick up some gift certificates?
Did
March
not
5th will be
plan
a
on it.
Wednesday. Be a Wednesday night. 6 p.m.
Because you could use a credit card. Credit card. Have to get reimbursed.
Well, we could always, the staff could grab gift certificates and we could pick them up too. Brandon, do you want to go to this? You have sports with children?
I never know. That time of year is busy, but I can't commit right now.
That's okay.
So we're going to do a full-page ad and then $100 in
Yeah.
gift certificates for.
And I don't think we have to vote on that, right? I mean, that's just,
We're just kind of talking about it and agreeing.
Okay.
yeah.
Anything else there?
And we'll, and we'll just ask Brandon to coordinate with one of us. if he's not
Yes.
gonna be
Sure.
there.
I always go, but I'm happy to buy my own ticket and have one of the staff members go if they'd like to go. So they don't get very many outings. I mean,
Yeah,
Debbie and
it's a real treat.
Michelle.
It'd be a real treat.
Yeah, it's very lovely.
Mr. Dutchman.
And it's a good meeting. It's always a good meeting.
I'd almost rather just.
Do we know who the speaker is going to be? Or?
You know, Beth usually pulls that together, and
You don't know till the last
you
minute.
don't know till the last
It's
minute.
always a pleasant
But
surprise.
it's always
A
really
pleasant
good.
surprise.
It's always really good. But why don't, and Barry usually goes, but why don't we give those tickets maybe to Debbie and Michelle first and see if they want to go? I'll get my own ticket. That way it's a nice little treat for them. Or you.
All
I think
right.
they would like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's all.
Got some announcements here. Jerome Township offices will be closed Monday, February 17th for President's Day holiday. Will reopen Tuesday, February 18th at 8 a.m. If you'd like to receive notifications of the Board of Trustee meetings, please email the Township office, jerometownship@jerometownship.com. Website for the town's comprehensive plan is live at jerometownshipcomprehensiveplan.com.
I need to give you an update on that. It's live to see what they've done so far, but they're not taking
Yeah.
any more survey comments. at this
Gotcha.
point. They cut that off as the last thing.
So it's a one-way website right now. The township's always accepting applications for positions on our zoning boards. Please visit the Jerome Township website to fill out an application.